about to, but then you started talking about
I'm recording. I'm going
Wonderful.
live.
What are we talking about?
420.
Okay,
It's the one thing we know the most about.
sure.
Talk show. God damn, I'm so
420 talk show.
I'm so confirming go live.
Like, that would explain why you got so lost in the random moderator things.
Oh, and I'm only gonna get higher.
Getting higher and
Going
higher.
to get higher.
You have Casino Thanks already chilling in the chat. What a name. Casino Thanks.
It's the Villains Talk Show?
It is the Villains Talk Show. I'm going to readjust. Oh no, it is. It just says 420. I didn't think it was going to be so straight up simple. Alright,
It's
cool.
the Villains Talk
Let's do this.
Show! Sorry
Woo.
we're late.
Welcome to the talk show. We're not sorry.
I was distracted. I was literally sitting here distracted because I'm an idiot. Ugh.
Bear with me. Occasionally, my internet lags and usual.
Hello and welcome to the Villains Talk Show and Podcast. If you are listening on
Hello
podcast, then there's nothing to be worried about. Everything starts on time. Everything's correct. If you're watching us live,
you don't know the editing
you're probably wondering why we're 15 minutes late. It's because
we're wizards.
Oh,
we're not
man.
late. We reside precisely when we meet.
I actually have an excuse. Anyway, so it's
He says
topic,
while yawning.
which is Happy 420. I figure since it's just me and Insaniac 2, we can both get super high and also talk about all the horrible things that's going on in China right now.
Man,
I figure we could take a
go
part
look
2
through
because
my
everything's
stuff.
just
That's not what I thought we were going to talk about. I had other things in my thought
things
process.
just
That
keep
works, too.
getting worse. What are you talking about?
I mean,
Nothing's
it's
more
about
fun than
420
talking.
stuff. Honestly,
Oh,
I was talking about 420 things.
Well, you better hope you can
set
fill
up
the time.
You're like,
You
shit.
better hope you can fill the time with 420 stuff.
You picked the right person for that, man. The person that doesn't know how to stop talking, that streams all the time.
You're gonna have to fill the time with 420 stuff, or else we're gonna have to go
Oh,
to China.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so as you can
You don't
see,
need to
Happy 420. I'm wearing my Cheech and Chong shirt. Oh my god, this is already starting bad. I'm C4.
Man, when
I'm
you're
with
off to a rough start.
Insaniac.
Yeah, I'm not.
Unfortunately, the
I had a
elusive
little bit
gentleman
today.
and
I'm
Greasy
almost out.
Boy will hopefully be on later. I'm not sure. I didn't get a good, but we're on late
I'm
because
thinking the Greasy Boy, but we don't know.
You know what? Before we get to that,
We're all over the place.
I'd like to thank Rujhala and For the Wheel to be our Patreons. If you want to be a Patreon too, the
Wonderful
Linktree.
Patreon.
Oh God, we don't have Greasy Boy here to do Linktree. I got to do Linktree. Villains Talk Show. We've cornered the market in the name of the Villains Talk Show. You can support us on Patreon. You can subscribe to us on Twitch or YouTube. Just search for us and find us. Or if you're listening on the podcast, thanks. We switched to Anchor recently, so you might notice a bit of a blip. Like we lost one of our episodes in switching over, which sucked.
Still a thing?
We only lost one episode, which is good. But all the other episodes seem to have carried over. But we've officially switched over to Anchor, which hopefully will make things a bit easier on us. And
You got wisdom, because that's totally a thing. I know the stuff. This is totally scripted, 100%.
who did I? Oh, in Wisdom, and we're on Wisdom now. I'm so lost. I'm gonna drink some of my.
Are we?
I'm gonna drink some of my more of my marijuana infused energy drink. Ooh, actually, that's so good.
I don't know. Because also have my internet cut out at clearly the best time right now.
Oh, that's so good. So yeah, we started late because if you are lucky enough to be part of our Discord, which means if you were a guest on the show, or if you have ever been a guest on the show, or if you join the Patreon for any amount, I think we have a 50-cent Patreon amount, or a subscribe. Or
you could only go like $1, wasn't it? I don't remember.
No, you can go 50 cents.
Things.
You can also subscribe to us on Anchor. So if you subscribe to us on Anchor, if you Patreon, or if you're ever a guest on the show, or want to be a guest on the show, or want to be a guest on the Two Shots, you will get into the Discord. And what's cool about the Discord is the reason I'm late is Insaniac here has installed Tamagotchis.
This is a very bad thing.
It is Tamagotchis.
You're so bad for announcements. I'm in the midst of I feel like I'm in the midst of a construction project and I've gotten the stairs made for the house, but that's it. And you're like, guys, there's a house coming. Come check out the house.
We are still definitely figuring out all the admin stuff, but I'm definitely looking at it now, and it's all supported by an outside company, I guess, called
Patsu.
Anyway, so they support it, so we don't support it. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to rely on our technical savvy. You just have to rely on our wonderful moderation and admin powers. So,
which always works.
Yeah, and you can.
But yeah, that's the thing. You can come check out. And
you can come check that out.
You can beta test while we figure it out. In a sense, try to get some interesting encounters and things. The marquee channel made for our wonderful viewers.
Since it is the day of days, the 4 of 20s.
It's the day of 420s. The 20s of the 4.
I figured since it's you and me.
And the zeros.
And maybe if the elusive gentleman and the greasy boy show up, maybe not so much the greasy boy. I don't know. I don't want to count him out. I don't know what stories he has. But let's talk about days of 420 past. In fact, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this to Days of 420 Past.
Captain Hindsight truly is.
I was actually thinking more like the shitty Marvel, not Marvel, X-Men movie.
I don't know. There's a number of those. That's not vague.
Oh my god, Days of Future 420 Past.
Oh. Still pretty lame, but I got you.
Days of Future 420 Past.
This is probably the first 420 I've had in a while where I haven't had it off. Because usually I always book this day off at work. Because I'm like, this is a holiday for me.
Usually it's the opposite for me, man. That's lucky for you. Usually for me, it's like
I make an effort to book this day off because I'm like, no, dude. Like this is the day. This is the only day I make sure I have off if I can. I try for Christmas. I'll try for my birthday. I'll try for other days. But this is the day I usually make sure that I have off all the time. And I've not always have it off, but I wasn't able to starting a new job and other things like that. It's hard to really book time off.
As I can't take this day off usually because my birthday's at the beginning of the month, so I usually take that day off. So 420 is a day off for me. It's pure coincidental.
You just got to reshuffle your birthday to have your birthday on 420. That's the way.
But that makes 420s for me special. I like 420s.
Yeah, fair. I enjoy the celebration of the marijuana days.
So then tell me tell me your earliest 420 memory.
I don't. That's really hard to pull back. I want you to think about this question.
I know the answer.
Really.
I never ask probably a few
questions that
I never ask.
Remember.
See, that's the key to being a good host is never ask a question you don't know the answer to. In case it gets thrown back at your face.
Let's say if it was a good 420, you don't remember the first one.
I do though. Grade 10.
I don't.
Wait.
I can't say I remember my first.
So I'll start then, since you threw it back at me. Grade 10. I just started smoking pot. And it was my friend Brittany's birthday. And she lived down in Sunnyside, which if you know the city I live in, there's this community by the river in this little valley called Sunnyside. Beautiful little community.
Oh, sunny.
And it's right down the hill from my high school. And so I get out of school, and it's a beautiful, gorgeous day. And I was the dumb kid that went to school instead of skipping that afternoon. Because everyone left at lunch. Like, all my friends left at lunch to go to Brittany's place. But I didn't. So I was
Man,
like,
that was the same
whatever.
at my high school too, bro. Everyone left at lunch as well for 4
So,
be gone.
so I went, so I walked, I'm walking down the hill. And as soon as I get to the hill from my high school, which is about a block or two away, we call it the hill because it's this massive downhill into the valley, which then leads to this community called
there.
Sunnyside. Anyway, so as I get to the
What a
hill,
twist.
I start to smell pot. And I'm like, oh yeah, people are already celebrating. And so then I find a path and I start walking down the path.
Smell that
and
smells.
the whole time I just smell pot. And I get down into the valley, into Sunnyside, and it smells even more like pot. And eventually I'm like, it's about a block into Sunnyside, and I'm like, no way, guys. And then I just keep going, and I go into the alley, and I start walking up to Brittany's place. And at this point, like, it just reeks of pot everywhere. It just absolutely reeks of pot. And all I see is like out of a fucking movie, just little plumes of white smoke coming out of this garage that we'd smoke in. And they had gone to the local marijuana store or weed shop, bong shop, and they had purchased a giant blunt wrap, like one of those pound Cheech and Chong wraps.
Head shops, as we used to call them back in the day.
One of those big papers. And they had talked to our provider of illicit substances, and our buddies, they had all pulled money together to buy a pound, and it turned it into this massive joint, and they put it on a little music stand, and it literally, like, you could not see anywhere in the garage. It was absolutely just, it was the densest fog I've ever seen. But what made me laugh is I always remember it because we smoked, like, before I even got there, they had smoked the whole neighborhood. The whole neighborhood smelled like pot. And to answer your last question, or to further your last point, no, I don't remember most of the rest of that day. At that point, like, I have vague memories of the rest of that day, of like hanging out in the garage and like having some, like, doing some funny stuff, but like, no, like, my memory was shot after that point. But I will always remember that walk, my first 420. That walk down to Sunnyside, because all I could smell was pot. Like,
I cut out for all of that. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with my internet. I heard no, and then that's my last point. But that's wild that the whole, like, what, 3 neighborhoods smelled like weed.
It's just one,
like 3
because Sunnyside,
okay.
like, because I'm up, because I went to my high school's up in the hill, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally just down the hill. It was only the one.
Oh, okay. I thought it was, because Sunnyside's a big area. I thought it was like a couple blocks.
It's not as big as you think.
Well, it's not as big, but it's a fairly sizable
area. From center to 10th. It's only 10 blocks.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? That's I was thinking, like, at least like 3 blocks were fucking rank.
at least, yeah. Yeah, okay. Although it's funny to think about, because that day it was beautiful, gorgeous, like, I think like 15 degrees out. And today it was beautiful and gorgeous too, but it was only like 3 degrees out. Nice. So yeah, do you remember your original, awesome. your first story?
Yeah, I don't know if, like, there was ever a moment where I think, like, me and my friends, we had like this, like, bushes or like grassy kind of like area that we'd always just go hang out in by our school, or like, I don't know, we just find some grasslands to go hang out in. Or if you're familiar with Walmart, there's this, like,
with what? If I'm familiar with what?
art center. They had they had a train
You keep cutting out. I'm sorry.
line, shield tracks, I guess.
All right, back up. You and your friends would go to a field, and then everything else. Just
Yeah, we'd find like a grassy place. Yeah, my internet's being choppy. I don't. Yeah, there's over by Deerfoot Stutter, if you're familiar with there.
Deerfoot Stutter?
I think Center.
Oh, Deerfoot Center.
Yeah.
Oh, over on 52nd. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I know where you are.
There's the industrial train line that would go down that way. Right?
I know where you are.
Yeah.
I know where you are. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. That industrial trainer. And me and my friends, there was this one bridge that it looked like it was meant to be like a cross river bridge that had just been put aside from the bridge that was not in use. That was just sitting beside the tracks, right?
Sorry, you cut out at awkward moments, so it's like you completely like
just the bridge. And because it's this industrial train, like it's an industrial train, so nobody's going by and seeing us, right?
Yeah.
And then if anything, there's that bike path that ran down by the area, but this is on the other side through a bit of walking. So.
Yep.
And then the worst you have to worry about is, if anything, people driving down the highway. But again, that's still like a bit of ways between grasslands, like and there's a whole fence in your way.
Yes.
Like all right, we'll fuck it out of here, just run away, like just at any point.
Oh, okay. So you were just down there getting baked.
Like the bike path was like down this great big hill, so we always get really blitzed, and then trying to ride or walk back up that fucking hill was a nightmare.
That's actually really funny.
Oh, more walking, please.
That sounds like.
But yeah, my buddy got hilarious. It is, but we would find other ways to go around. Like that was just the main way to my buddy's place, but there was like a 7-Eleven or like a Ready Mart or whatever around the corner. We would just walk around underneath the overpass if we were that lazy. But it was a good spot, and we would. I remember one of the 420s that we were there. We got completely blitzed, and then because the train, like on the bridge, they have the different wooden spaces right in between. It was me and one of my other buddies had just kind of brought to the spot, and we were like walking away. And as we walked, we were walking away, all I heard was, "Oh fuck!" And I heard my buddy like, "Give me a head, what?" And I turned around, and then all of a sudden, my buddy, when he was walking, he had fallen through one of the slots of the train bridge, and he got his leg stuck in one of the little spaces. But this was on the one that was off to the side. It wasn't on like the main bridge. But like he was walking and he slipped and missed the step, so he had one leg up in the fucking on the wood and the other leg like down in the grass in the hole. He's just like shit help! Like it was so funny.
I was gonna say I'd be half like shitting my pants. Just a little bit.
Yeah, on the regular trade track, sure.
I mean, does it really
little bridge that I guess I don't know if it's an older one or a new one that they were using for like across the water, but like, well, it was more of the surprise, right? He didn't expect to just slip and fall down.
Yeah, exactly. It's train tracks.
It's honestly just hilarious.
There's always that slight panic that sets in. Oh, here's a full one.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he was just. It was off the grass, so it wasn't really. But yeah, it was a funny thing. It's just hilarious to me.
I just found a full brand new head that I have not used.
Nice. Always get my new cartridges.
Gotta look for those new cartridges.
I was gonna hit the store on the way, but the store was closed.
That's too bad.
Fortunately. Sucks when you had to work. I didn't think about it till after, or else I probably could have got some. But yeah, so well. I could always rail on some res. I'm really that.
Alright, so that was your earliest story, or is that just some random story?
That was one, either I would say some random or probably the earliest 420 I could think of, in a sense. Otherwise, it's usually just been I one of the gentleman over one of the first probably 420s I had with him. My dad and his girlfriend. Like I was living with my parents at the time; they were out away. So I had him and one of my main kitchen buddies who got me back into smoking weed after I took a break for a bit of time.
This was you and your
Him
dad?
and
Yes?
potato. This is one more time. You cut out for me.
Your dad? You and your dad? Your dad got you
No,
back
not
into
my
smoking
dad.
weed?
No, my buddy that I was going to when I first started working in kitchens.
Oh,
I had
first
taken a
started
break for a bit
working
of time.
kitchens. Okay.
Yeah, I took a break when I was in high school for a bit because of relationship trauma, and then when I started working in the kitchen again, one of my buddies got me back into it, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it, and I no regrets.
Except the initial regret of first quitting.
Regret I had in early job. It's not because I wanted to. It's just because relationship drama, making the other person happy.
That, yeah, okay. That is.
It's just how it goes.
I understand making them happy. I understand being a young age and not knowing yourself and making horrible decisions.
Well, it wasn't really like a horrible decision. My ex didn't really like when I was stoned, so instead of arguing, I said, "Fine, I just won't do it. I won't. I don't want to have to fight over something silly. It's just weed." But after the relationship was over, got back into it because I don't have that problem anymore, and someone to worry about crying that I'm stoned, and I'm an adult, so I'm back and hold it a little bit better than I used to when I was a kid. Before I used to giggle and act like a child, so it's not like she was incorrect.
Man, is it so wrong to giggle next? I was like that's my next, like that was my favorite part of getting stoned. It's so rare that happens now.
Yeah, and get lost in a sense, but I can appreciate it as a bit more of an adult and not like to have my intolerance to know that it's like I can get stoned and just have be a casual, relaxing, and not being like, all right, I'm gonna be toasted for like 4 hours and just get lost in a video game, forget everything exists, you know?
But that's like, that's the reason I.
It's nice, but
like
that's fair.
Like to be like that's the whole reason I get high is to literally just get lost in it for 4 hours and just be okay.
There are times when I would.
Like,
that's fair. I've had moments where like I use it for that too, but it's not the only reason I smoke weed. I have various reasons. It's a multi-purpose tool. It's great for a number of things. But I'm hoping like eventually like I want to learn how to make like get into like edibles, but like not baked goods and chocolates, like actual real food. And start up like weed cuisine or you know like actual real restaurant food.
weed cuisine.
I couldn't think of a name back then to what to call it, but that's what the easiest way to call it something.
I mean, it would work.
Yeah. Well, I just, you know, cause I went to had to deal with fine dining and all this stuff. Imagine that layer of etiquette and
with marijuana. It's like it's like,
with
so wait,
like
basically
style
you
cooking.
want to make, if what I'm understanding is you want to make a craft brewery for weed.
I wouldn't say a craft brewery, but pretty close. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Because
it sounds like a craft brewery.
I'd like to make what would essentially be like a I wouldn't say fine dining, but a nice like nice
brewery?
setting dining place where you can sit and like have food. I actually mainly want to do like a video game lounge was my main idea.
A video game lounge.
Yeah,
you could do both.
Video
game lounge,
well,
craft brewery.
I was gonna do both. See, so I was gonna do a separate. I was gonna do one side was gonna be the main restaurant, the other side was gonna be the lounge.
I mean,
and the main separate was gonna be for
always
families.
Pursue your dreams. Like always pursue your dreams. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna measure it off any business, or better yet, if you're going to explain it to any bank, the way I would explain it is it's a craft brewery, but for weed.
I mean, yeah, it's
You'll have a lot better success in selling it.
if you
Trust
would
me.
make it sound more specifically oriented. But who better of a salesman? Who better customer to sell to than stoner gamers?
No, it's like,
You
don't get me wrong, it's a great idea. I'm just telling you.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it in a way that like I understand what you're saying. I just mean
Beware the
like think
banks.
that oh, of course.
Beware the
Think of that
banks.
sense, right? Imagine there's no greater customer than people who want to sit and play video games as stoners because you're gonna get high and then you're gonna want to play video games and then when you stop being high you're gonna want to be more high to play more video games and then you're gonna forget time has passed by. There's going to be other foods that are going to be there other than just edibles, but you can have edibles and smokables at the same time. Is what I'm hoping for. The whole idea will just be it's a weed lounge, right? You sit there, you get stoned. It's like a shisha lounge, same kind of concept.
Like a shisha lounge.
Yeah,
Except it would have to be more like a craft brewery.
you say that, but that would depend. It depends on if like I would likely. I'm not sure. Like I know a bit of like I've studied on some of the government's like weed kind of regulations and stuff. So it would depend on if like I have to use product from the government's surplus or they would allow like um,
Well, yeah, you'd
business
have to.
resource.
Unless you're in Alberta. It's always from the
Yeah.
government. That
Well, no,
goes
no,
without question.
I have no doubt in that one, but I wasn't sure in that regard if they would allow like uh, privatized growth, well, taxation in that regard.
What? What do you mean? Of course they would. Like, I'm not following.
So what I mean is instead of like so if you were to open a business, you were to be able to grow your own product for that business instead of having to buy from a product that the government sells.
Oh, oh. You want to be a point of sale, and well, you're technically not selling, so you'd be
No,
buying it. I don't think.
I imagine there would be some kind of loophole because it's a new. The idea I have isn't something that's been implied in
I
Canada
mean,
yet. It's something that's only in
then,
Amsterdam and stuff like that or Jamaica. But
well, technically, your idea is everywhere. If you really think about it, it's
no,
just
it
what they do
absolutely
with.
is.
It's what they do with alcohol already, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
like,
Right? You
there's
just put it's the same, yeah, you put booze and food, right? It's the same kind of thing.
well, not booze and food. I was thinking more of that like more
Yeah,
practical. Think
yeah.
more practical.
But
Like
but then in that same regard, yeah, growing your own, making your own beer, right? You can make your own, like you said, craft brewery. You can do that.
exactly. That's what it is. Make
It
your
also
own.
depends, right? Because
Like I
you
was
can
gonna
make your
say,
own
just
craft brewery, but you can't also make your own bathtub vodka, right? So
no, you can't.
that dep- so it kind of depends on
But you can
what
make your
because
own
there's
vodka
yeah
and sell it. It just there's regulation, right?
yeah
So
there's steps and rules
so,
and
but
things.
what the
Yeah,
problem is I don't think there's any regulation yet for yeah, anything like what you're saying. I don't think it's
yeah.
allowed.
I don't think there is either. I'm not. I haven't seen. I've looked up and looked around, and I
I'm
haven't seen
pretty
anything
sure it's
that's
not
been it's
allowed.
been made up yet. There hasn't been an official, as far as I know, an indication of one or the other, because at least here in Canada, they haven't established like
There's
like a
one.
like a
Woo!
sit and eating like a sit and eating experience with edibles. You know, it's
Yar,
normally just a sell and you take. So because of that, they haven't had a need to make those regulations yet.
yar,
So until then, they're not going to make them, I would imagine.
yar.
But that'll be something I got bigger ideas in that regard. I've a number of business ideas, but it'll depend on.
Big ideas,
I'm a
man.
good idea. I'm an idea guy, but I'm not always
Well,
the.
hey, if you need a business partner, man, it's not like I don't know business. It's not like I don't own my own business.
I do know a bit of business. I was planning to take business through college as well.
We could
I
go
have to do
to
financing.
the Canadian Dragon's Den.
Oh boy, that would be an interesting process.
Just look like absolute idiots doing it.
See, but it would work out so well at the same time because you'd have to be just so calm and casual about it, and that's what would sell it.
I would be too.
You're not even trying to do it as a competition, like competing thing. The whole point is just to have the word on there. That all. Once you get it there, then people will contact us. It doesn't need to be Dragzatin.
Or you just have to sell it. Sell it to the right bank, to the right buyer.
Well, that's true, but I mean, I don't. That depends. That's not that. The idea could be sold. Other ideas could be sold.
You could just sell the idea, make millions.
God, I like the idea of.
Don't actually believe what I just said. Anyone listening out there?
I don't think that's a good idea either. I'd rather hold on to my patents.
You know what?
Better long-term money.
I'm gonna direct the conversation in a completely left turn, just because it just dawned on me. You know, being a guy, you and I, because we've smoked a lot of weed in our lives, a lot of weed.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, very much so.
What? Like, do you care about fucking like names of strains and shit?
Yes and no, not really. They sound interesting, but honestly, not all that much. I care more about what they do than the name of the strain.
So, if you had to say, like, so you don't.
But no, like, if I had dog shit named weed, and it was like God tier level got me high, I would care less. It makes no difference.
Well, I think that's the same with anyone.
If but like Smurf's penis or something stupid, I would not care.
But like, I'm not even talking about like the names anymore. It's more like, fuck, I go to the weed store and they're like, oh, you know, we have this blue jean, green bush kush. It's got like a 63% CBD level with a little bit of indica, but mostly a sativa high. And I have like this 20-year-old fucking sitting there telling me about the high and what to expect. And like I give a shit. And then it dawns on me. People do.
Yeah, some people do. But that's because they're not like there's the light connoisseur, right? The person that thinks they're highfalutin in their weed smoking ways. Just like people who drink wine effervescently for the vapors and the tannins.
It's just like,
you know what I mean? Like, because there's also people like not like us that just don't smoke weed to get infinitely blitzed with the highest THC we could likely come up with.
I just don't get it though. Like, like, and then people tell me, they're like, oh yeah, I don't like to get that high. I don't want really strong weed. I'm like, then you buy the strongest weed possible, bruh, and you just smoke a tiny bit.
Yeah, yeah, you just don't smoke as much, yeah.
Way longer.
Yeah, like, you know, I just had that dilemma not too long ago where I was like, I use it mainly as a painkiller. So the other day I was like, I'm kind of broke, but I need to get weed because I'm dealing with some issues. And then I'm like, I have enough money that I could buy like a smaller amount of really good shit. But then the lady talked me into buying like some half like orange flavored something that was a little less of the THC, but was on sale, so I could get two.
Oh, I hate when they do that to me. Oh,
so I'm like, well, if I smoke double as much, I can kind of deal with it. And then I got it, and I'm like, I just can't get there. This is just disappointing.
Dude, I bought an ounce from a store because it was cheaper. Like, I've been buying like my ounces for like $100, or like I'll pay 150 for my ounce because apparently that's super good quality, and that gets me really big.
It's not bad, yeah.
One guy was like, "Oh yeah, we have these ounces. I thought you'd like it. It's only $60." I'm like, "Fuck it, sure."
Only $60,
dude. I blew through it in 2 days.
I bet.
Just blew through it.
I've had like, weed like that, and it barely lasts you, and you have to smoke all of it.
And to back up, like I understand, you know, people can't take that. People aren't like as seasoned as me. I've never said no. Like, I swear to God, if I went to Cannabis Cup, I've always wanted to go. And I've had...
Cup? Is there a competition?
Here's the other thing. Yeah, there is. Like, here's the other thing. In my whole life... you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna issue this, because I am confident. In my whole life, I've met many, many, many stoners. Many hippie old stoners. Many young stoners. Many stoners in my life. And some famous stoners.
Weeds today cannot stand up to some of the old weeds back in the day. I can tell you that much too.
No, what I was gonna say is, I was gonna say this. Come at me, bro. I've been stoned every day of my life since I was 16. Live free one way, get high every day. You want to come at like I am the weed. I am the Jim Leahy of pot. I see Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, and I think, what a lightweight. Like, I met a guy who once told me he wanted to die. He wanted to have enough ashes in pot to equal the weight of his body. But then I think if you look at how much ashes weigh, that's not a lot, man.
That's not a lot, yeah. They're virtually like micrograms.
Anyway, I just want to. I smoke a lot.
I would like to make the similar claim. I've been completely out there. The only thing that's new to me is I haven't gone deep into psychedelics, but when it comes to weed, I have smoked pretty high shit. The highest THC I think I've hit has been at least in 80s to almost 90s, maybe 87, 86. I think was the highest I hit THC wise. I've hit a bit. I've seen a bit more, but man, my favorite, I guess I could there's a strain that I like. It's not really the name that makes a difference for me. My favorite strain, honestly, is called Redwood Kush. I have never found it after it's become legalized.
One strain I remember that I knew by name. I still do today. Texada Time Warp. It's an actual.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It's an actual infamous strain. You can look it up. It was in High Times a couple times. It's from Texada.
That sounds interesting.
I've had it. It is really good.
Redwood Kush is grown in the. And it's pretty sure it's grown in the big main redwood forest.
It's from an island off the coast of BC called Texada. It's the only place it grows. Texada Time Warp. Other than that, man, if weed don't get me high, don't.
Yeah, if for those, I would recommend definitely checking out Redwood Kush. I'm a big gamer stoner, and Redwood Kush was probably the best weed I had for exactly that. Completely checking out, staying lipped into the game, and just everything else is faded.
We're approaching the end here. I want to talk about the final topic of 420.
The barely final topic that you want to throw in.
No, this was all planned. You shut up.
This was not. You didn't tell any of this to me.
Look how wide open my eyes are. I'm not stoned. What are you talking about?
I like that you tried for a second and then you stopped.
We're good.
Yeah, so good. 100%.
Okay, I want your opinion on this.
I was gonna say if you're baiting into this, then I'm gonna bait into something else.
I'm gonna assume that you and I are very similar, in that we are both we're flower children, in that we like our cannabis flowered, our greens ember crispy.
Indubitably.
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 Oh, God.
I also have been since the inducive gentleman has purchased me a vape, I have been enjoying
indubitably indued. Anyway, I'm getting at. I have friends who swear.
You have friends?
One of them was on the show. LaSalle, go check out her stuff. She has Etsy.
We have a couple of those friends.
Go check out LaSalle's art stuff. She was on a show previously. Does hula hoops and art. Anyway,
hula hoops and art.
Yeah, she swears by this stuff. Shatter.
Yeah, it's okay.
The shattering, and they have the dab rigs, or I've seen people I've been drinking all day, these fancy okay, just to be clear to everyone out there, this 420, I decided that I was not going to smoke marijuana. Instead, I have a shatter pen, I have edibles that I've been eating all day. I have drinkables. I have drinkables that I've been drinking all day. I've been doing oil drops. Like I am.
Vape is similar to. Come on now, smoking.
I am 100% just like no joints, no bongs, no flour. I just wanted to be 100% high on everything else to see what it's like, and I am pretty fucking high. Because I've done a lot. I looked at those cans.
Yeah, edibles hit you
pretty I drank like quick. 4 of those cans, and it says you're only supposed to drink 1. And I drank the really I drank the double shot ones. That like
and the recommended dosage is always for children if you think about it in a certain sense.
Yeah, okay.
Or at least anyway. I don't mean actual kids. I mean people who have the tolerance of children, where they cannot.
That's so true.
The weed tolerance where they just get fucked, right? And then you have like 1 or 2 of these drinks, and sure that'll hit a normal person, but like anybody like us that's been smoking for quite a while, you need at least 4 or like 6 to maybe get something going. Like I've had 2 in a row before to get a little bit
good. I look pretty good.
Yeah, fashionista right here. The walking icon.
Oh, I didn't mean my fashion. Oh, whatever.
I know.
Anyway,
I'm just making a joke.
Anyway, my point is to you. All these fancy new age, millennial magic pens and fancy smoking apparatus.
What an awful way to explain that.
This, do you think eventually flour will go the way of the dodo? Cause like
no, I don't.
Are you sure?
For people like myself,
are you sure they won't find some way to like put a cancer label on it, and like this?
Oh, they will. They'll probably find a way to turn it and make it seem awful. They do that with everything and anything in any society that has fun. Anything that's fun.
Anything.
They did that. They did that with D&D back in the 70s.
Anything in excess will kill you.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, the secret to what a lot of people say is a long life is varied. There's no real secret. It's just whatever makes you happy. So, like, if you find your thing that makes you happy in excess, I think you should hold on to it. And if you're worried about dying from that thing, then you really don't love it as much as you think you do. Because people who love certain things. I know people who would love to who would love to OD on weed. I know
OG.
people who would.
Sorry.
I love OG too. But I know people who would love to OD on weed. Yeah, man. If you love something so much, you'll let it kill you. It is, but not fundamentally possible. There's an amount that they have a recorded amount of how much weed it is.
Find me the stat.
It's assumed that amount of marijuana is fundamentally impossible. You could maybe. I like you ask me the question, then don't want my answer, so you find it on your own.
Oh no, it was kind of a rhetorical question.
A fishy question.
Rhetorical question.
Yeah, I got you. There is a you can. It's pretty much fundamentally impossible. To consume the amount of marijuana you'd have to, either in physical, like actual leaf, or in smoke, is a lot. It's a lot of, like, you have to, it's like thousands of grams. It's an OD on marijuana. But I know people that, like I said, if you love something so much, you'll let that shit kill you, and that's the, dudes who like getting laid. I'm sure a dude would love to have a heart attack while he's getting banged, but not for everyone.
Well, here's the first good bit is WebMD, the alarm sounder of everything that you always have cancer, says that it's extremely to highly unlikely.
Yeah, it's fundamentally almost impossible.
While rare, a marijuana overdose is still possible only if the subject is allergic in some way.
I guess that makes sense.
Even if
that's more a reaction though than.
Although some blah blah blah. This is, by the way, this is from the drug abuse marijuana overdose, drugabuse.ca. Although some people may exhibit or suffer from extreme anxiety, panic attacks, psychotic reactions, decreased judgment, uncontrollable shaking, pale skin or responsiveness, or high blood pressure and headaches, they will not die.
Yeah, man. But you can get in a really rough state mentally if you're in a bad trip.
Well, yeah. In other words, you can force.
You have to have a lot.
You can force your. Yeah, it says right here. You can force yourself a heart attack. You can cause yourself to get a heart attack.
Yeah, you could. And in, like I said, in the way of like an allergy, that's more of a reaction. But like, I remember once upon a time seeing a video where someone did calculate the amount of like weed you'd have to ingest, and it's something in like the thousands of grams. It's a lot, and in like a series of hours, no doubt either, because your body processes it pretty quickly.
Is that a challenge?
It's not, but if you want to OD on ganja and that's your way to die, go for it.
I don't think it's possible.
I think it is possible.
I don't think it's possible for me. I think my tolerance is so high.
That's the challenge.
That's asking a lot.
If this is the challenge you want to put on yourself, I won't tell you how to live your life, but
I'm too much of a coward, and I value my life too much. Thank you.
It's theoretically possible.
As my mother used to tell me as a child, I am a gift to the world, and I tend to believe her.
Wow, that's nice. At least everyone's mom says positive things, right? Even Jason's mom said positive things about him.
Which Jason?
Friday the 13th.
Which Jason?
Man. Friday the 13th? A horror movie?
Yeah. Which Jason? Yeah.
Look, I'm not here to try to jump into the movie buff context of the lore of who was in what film and at what time and who's been how many of how.
I mean, one of them wasn't Jason, right? Wasn't one of them a girl pretending to be Jason?
I know. I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about.
And then one of them was a mental patient who survived.
Man.
Or was that the same girl?
One was the mother. There's a point that the mom says, "Yes, Jason, you are wonderful, my daughter."
One is
moms will always say great things about their children, even if their children are monsters.
And to be fair, to that point, Jason's mother thought that her son was drowned by a bunch of neglectful teens that just wanted to fuck at summer camp. And so Jason's mom never said anything nice to him. She just went on a murdering spree for the sake of her child, which then turned out to somehow still be alive in the bottom of a lake. Which
I didn't watch all the shows, but I imagine that before he passed away, there was points where she had talked to her child and said positive things.
I mean,
either way,
she was probably a regular human.
This isn't a Mother's Day stream, but I'm gonna say shout out to moms. They're awesome because
oh my god,
only a mom can.
We do a Mother's Day stream where it's all about like mother murderers or people with Oedipus complexes. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty fun.
That would be interesting.
Happy Mother's Day.
Your moms are the only people that are well. I know dads too that have been. It just depends on the relationship, but. There's always a parent that believes in you.
Unless your parents hate you. Or if that's true and you're listening to this right now and both your parents are a piece of shit, we love you.
We believe in you. Yeah, we love you.
Fuck your parents. Go fucking fuck them in the dick.
It happens.
No.
Or if you don't have...
I'll rephrase that. Go fucking
we still love you.
Now, if your parents are awesome, if you have a great mother and great father, then, disregard everything you just said. But if they don't, in case someone hasn't said it today, your parents are pieces of shit. Unless they're great people, then they're great people.
Then they're not. Then they're great people.
Your parents are great people. Unless they're not, then they're pieces of shit.
It happens, man.
This is how we get away with this because we call ourselves the villains, so we just say whatever. Fuck editing. People.
That's how the best of people do it,
That's the other thing. I wonder how many people think I actually take time to edit. There are some things I edit because sometimes
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes we'll say something that just really should not be aired. Not like nothing racist or anything like that, but like we go on the dumbest tangents. You would know, like I think there was one time I cut out a whole like 5-minute tirade where we were talking about the thickness of dildos. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding you. I had to cut that because like I'm like, dude, this is just gonna get right. Like we're just gonna basically be porn at this point. Like we're so bored. This is what the fuck we're talking.
It's audio porn for anyone who needs to.
If you're ever wondering what gets left on the cutting room floor, it's literally girthiness of dildos.
The occasional random thoughts.
Because things
that are misplaced.
Oh god, now I'm on that thought process. Just to give some color to it. The original question was how, other than the girthiness that you're given, how would you figure out what a girl likes for girthiness of a dildo? And then we looked it up and it found out most dildos are made by women. And then our question was, well what? So wait, you can actually get a job where you stand there and these women test the girth? And we just it was a bad tangent. It just got worse.
Before we get deeper, I hope this doesn't have to be something you need to edit out.
No, I don't care anymore. We're adults. If you're listening to us, you better be. If you're listening to us and you're not 18 or older, you're either a savvy teen or you have some awesome parents or some shit ones.
We're gonna say both to cover our bases either way.
Exactly.
We love you all out there. You're wonderful people.
Well, this has been the C4 and Insaniac Smoking Lounge once again.
Show.
Thank you all for joining us. I know it's technically the podcast and talk show, but whenever it's just us two, we're just gonna call it the Smoking Lounge. The casual je ne sais moi.
Fundamental ganja connoisseurs, as we are clearly on this wonderful day of
the logic. We're the fundamental logic connoisseurs of today. I have been C4. This has been Insaniac. And we are the two villains of the Villains Talk Show. Please join us on Fridays for 2-Shot Fridays, or every Thursday and Tuesday on anywhere you get podcasts for new shows, or Wednesdays for the live show at 10:30. 10:30 Mountain Time, 9:30 Pacific. I'm sorry you had nothing better to do. I'm glad you spent it with us here.
Pinky out.
Thank you to all our Patreons, the Rushala and the Wheel, and to all our subscribers.
Oh ho ho!
God,
we love you all.
I can't even break the accent. Can I end this? Oh well, that was just a running train wreck from the first minute.
Come on now. I knew that was the way this is gonna go. No idea what we're doing. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Oh shit! I'm still recording.